Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division with the tournament win for the qualifying round in the St. Patrick's Day tournament in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guides for Pro Division or any other division in the game by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Link directly in the description below. Follow the info box on the right hand side to follow through the playthrough with my club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. There are plenty of drops in this playthrough, but have in mind that all of them are just suggestions. You don't have to follow what I do suggest, but there is always a plan behind it. Thank you so much for watching, and let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we're gonna play with the rock, and here I want us to start by adding spin. We want 4 bars of top spin and 2 bars of side spin left. When it comes to starting with the rock level 7, we start at absolute max. And when it comes to the rock level 8, we start at the plus 14 yard mark, and when we play with the rock level 9, we start at the plus 13 yard mark. All 3 of them shall be having the complete white ring into the rough on the left. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. If we do adjust away from max when it comes to the rock level 7, we do push up to max. If we are in max still after our adjustment, we shall in that case apply 1 ring of overpower, but that is only with the rock level 7. Rock level 8 and level 9 should just be played like a normal shot. 352 yard mark, and from 352 we're gonna play the Grizzly level 8, 62% slider, no elevation. We use the top of the red ring as a marker by having that by the edge of the rough. Then we're gonna use somewhere between half a bar to 1 bar of topspin. The important part with the topspin and why the topspin is going to vary is because we do want to have the ball guideline through the hole approximately half a green square. If you have the ball guideline to the hole, it's very common that you then will fall short. No elevation for this shot, and as already explained, 62% slider when it comes to the Grizzly level 7 and level 8. If you do play with level 9, I would recommend to play 56% slider instead to compensate for the different power that you do have on the different level of the Grizzly. This is a really good chance for a drop. For hole number 2, we're gonna play with the Grizzly, and here we do want to find absolute max distance with the Grizzly level 7 and level 8, with white ring by the rough line to the right. When it comes to the Grizzly level 9, then we do have 3 yards and more power, so we shall be starting at the plus 5 yard mark instead, because plus 8 will be a bit too high up. Shot. 1 bar of backspin, and I'm using half a bar of side spin to left. You can see that the ball guideline is miles to the right compared to where pin stands, but this ball is going to be pushed massively to the left here. Maximum distance with a 15% over adjustment is what we are using. And then we're going to try to hit perfect. Perfect ball. And unfortunately, we will still miss this one to the right, which just means that we do need to use a little bit more side spin to the right. I would recommend to go with 0.8 bars of side spin to the left, just to put the ball a little bit closer. Speed-wise is really good though, and this is a tough par 3, so getting close and not getting it to drop is fine. But obviously, add a little bit more side spin to the left, and then we're gonna be either a little bit closer or getting it to drop for a nice hole-in-one on hole number 2. Hole number 3 here, having higher level clubs is going to be a massive advantage, and unfortunately I don't have that on this account, so I'm going to play with the rock to show that it's absolutely possible to get an equal here with this type of setup as well. The rock level 7, 4 bars of top spin, 3 bars of side spin. Right, I start at absolute maximum distance with the blue ring by the rough line to the right. When it comes to the rock level 8, I would in that case recommend to back up just a little bit. I would recommend you to go at the plus 9 yard mark and the rock level 9 at the plus 8 yard mark. Overpower, I use 3 rings of overpower with the rock level 7. I would recommend to still use overpower with rock level 8 and level 9, but it all depends on how much you do adjust in overpower. Bouncing nicely on the fairway and then getting it down to the fairway just to position ourselves for the second shot. I'm using one ball of curl to the right as well, which is something that I need to add. 345-yard mark, what will that result into? Yeah, honestly, here we are in a very tough spot. It could be recommended to play with the big dog or the cataclysm to be able to move further up and use a little bit less topspin or backspin for that matter to bounce towards the pin. The problem we do have here is that we do have the bunker in play, and it's going to be very difficult to get this ball to get close to green using a sniper. Maximum distance with a minus 10% under adjustment as we're playing uphill, and the ball is therefore affected less by wind. Half a ball of curl to the left just to use that because it's needed when it comes to playing there by the bunker. Sure, we're getting close, but this type of wind, we are somewhat dependent on having a long drive. And having a long drive, we need to play most likely with a cataclysm or to push the drive harder with the rock that we're having there now. So I decided to focus on having a safe way getting the eagle with a minor chance for an albatross, as it is the qualifying round and it's not necessary in my opinion to pull out some special balls or to push it too hard this early in the tournament. But it's up to you what you want to do. But here we do have a free to play version where we do lock in the eagle with a minor chance for. Tough win for hole number 4, but I'm gonna play with a power 3 ball to find absolute minimum distance of my club. Red ring by the rough line, and then I'm gonna apply spin. 1.5 bar backspin, and you will notice here that I'm using, in this case, 0.7 bars of side spin. Right, so the ball guideline is approximately half a green square left of pin. But my only focus here is the spin, to be honest, because now it is very important that we are adjusting properly, because if we adjust too much we're gonna get up on that mound. That's gonna give us a very weird bounce. Adjustment is max no elevation, which is the same as 1-to-1 plus 0.2 with sniper level 10 adjustment, and that is what I would like you to use even with lower level sniper. We bounce a little bit too much to the right in my opinion. Speed is perfect, but the thing that I would like to recommend is to only use 0.2 bars of side spin to the right and just completely ignore the ball guideline and how it shows. So the thing that we are looking for here is to complete minimum distance, red ring by the rough line, then we 1.5 bar backspin, 0.2 bars of side spin to the right, and to keep the same adjustment because we do want to keep the same bounce. That's why I don't want to change the adjustment. So tough one here on hole number 4, but definitely something to work with to get close or maybe get a drop or two. For hole number 5, we're gonna play with the rock, and here I'm using 3 bars of side spin to the right and 4 bars of top spin. Red ring by the rough line, ball guideline pointing towards the the rough that is pointing out into the fairway. Adjustment is going to be medium distance plus a 10. A power 2 ball settings as we're playing with a katana. So we do adjust and then we're going to hit our shot. But we're going to add one more thing, and that is going to be curl. Half a ball of curl to the right just to push the ball a little bit more to the right to prevent us from going into the rough at the left with a bad grip. Left. You don't need to play with curl, but I normally do that on this hole here to just or that I do get into the angle that I do want for the shot. 316 yards, and even though we're not playing a complete linear way, we're still going to rely on the yardage note. So from 316 yards, we're gonna play with our short iron, and we're gonna play with the thorn, and we're gonna play 92% slider, no elevation here. But first, we're gonna add spin. 4 bars of top spin, 1 bar side spin to the right. And we're looking to have half of the red ring outside the rough there to be on the fairway with the ball guideline going slightly through the hole. Very important that the ball guideline go through the hole here, because we do have a minor headwind, and if you don't let the ball guideline go through the hole, you will most definitely fall short line. So again, from 316 yards, we do play 92% slider, no elevation, and we're going to obviously perfect. Bouncing nicely into the rough, and it rolls right at pin for a beautiful eagle here on hole 5. And as we are noticing in this playthrough, the par 4s is where we do need to drop if we're going to have anything to do with winning this. Hole number 6, and we do play in a direct headwind. This hole is so extremely boring when it comes to playing direct headwind because it takes away the right side play completely, and it takes away the albatross attempt completely as well. So here we're just gonna play it safe. I'm playing with a Titan here with this account, but I would recommend a Kingmaker to reduce the wind a little bit more and prevent us from going into overpower and having to go with overpower. 4.5 bar topspin, we're aiming for the very top of the fairway with the ball guideline, and we adjust maximum distance plus 20, starting at the plus 1 yard mark with extra mile level 6 and level 7. When it comes to level 8, we're gonna start just before the plus 1 mark. That's the same with 9. Again, we do want to prevent us from going into overpower. That's why a Kingmaker could be sufficient, but it's not a must. Now, second shot, we're gonna do a triple bounce towards the green area, max top spin, 1 bar left spin. And when it comes to the top spin here, you can see that I'm not having that much with the Cataclysm level 4, but even if you do play with a higher level Cataclysm or a big dog, use all top spin and do the same type of structure, meaning that you add the spin, and then you find the second bounce to be just before the rough line. Then you apply medium distance with a 30% over adjustment. And even though I hit a great right here with this type of shot, you will see the plan with it anyway. So it bounces nicely on the fairway. Second bounce will also be on the fairway. Third bounce into the rough, and it's gonna roll out. So again, use as much topspin possible and apply the trick that I showed you there with the second bounce just before the rough. Make sure you do a triple bounce towards the green area to lock in the safe eagle, because once again, this is no albatross hole at all when it comes to direct headwind. Final of the par 3, we're gonna play one of my favorite par 3s of all time. And I'm gonna play with a sniper, and I'm gonna play with a navigator. Top of the blue ring by the rough line, ball guideline going through the hole. And this is before we apply spin. So that is why it's very important to not add spin until we find the landing position. 2 bars of backspin, half a bar of side spin to the right. Then we will apply max plus 15%, which is power 2 ball setting. But adjustment in itself is 1-to-1 plus 1. So for 6.3 miles per hour, we play 7 rings. The thing though we can argue about here is maybe reduce a little bit of backspin for this shot, because this one is just going to creep in and we don't want to fall short line. So those of you that are looking at this shot here, like a 1.9 backspin here, and still keep the half a bar of side spin to the right, would be even better in my opinion, even though we do get this one drop. And when I say 1.9 backspin, the way you do that is that you go up to full 2 bars of backspin, then you slowly go back. So you notice when it goes back like one little click of backspin, that is the only thing that it's needed. And I do think we have a better pace, and I do think that we will then counteract the fact that we could have a different wind angle from time to time and don't once again go short in line. Very good chance for a drop here on hole 7. For the final of the par 4s, we're gonna play hole number 8, and here we do want to play with the driver that gives us the most power possible. I'm playing with extra mile level 7, and I'm gonna play with a katana, and I'm gonna explain why a katana, even though it's headwind, but we're gonna come to that once we talk about the second shot. Red ring by the rough line, starting at +1, 4.5 bar topspin, and 3 bars of side spin. Right, if you do play with the extra mile level 8, you start just before +1 mark. Extra mile level 7 and 6 place the same +1 yard mark. Start. Just a tiny click of overpower, and the reason I'm using a tiny click of overpower is because I do adjust a tiny click into overpower. So you do apply overpower based on the amount you adjust into. And you can see here we bounce nicely on the fairway and we get that roll down the hill, which we are looking for. We are aiming for a yardage around 355 to 300 yards. We do not want to go further up though. We do not want to have 360 plus, because then we're gonna be in between clubs. Because the plan here now with the katana is to find absolute minimum per club, which we do, and that is absolutely perfect. Because I'd rather play with a long iron here in the wind instead of playing with a short iron, struggling with having the top spin to reach and having to use a different short iron and may go in between clubs if we don't get the drive yardage correct. So I'm in complete minimum distance. I'm applying top spin and together with 1.5 bar of side spin to left to have the ball guideline go through the hole to make sure that we're not going to go short. Minimum distance plus 15 is what I'm looking for here. I do adjust minimum distance plus 20 here in the example, and I would like us to remove a couple of decimals here. The reason for that is that we drop it left side of the cup, and it come in a way where we are a bit lucky to get this one drop, in my opinion. So if we would be removing a little bit here, I would be very pleased with that. So minimum distance with a 15% over adjustment, power 2 ball settings is what I'm looking for the second shot to have a really good chance getting that one to drop every single time. Hole number 9. Sure, there is a minor tailwind here, but as I do try to play this one in a general club way, I'm gonna lay up and I'm gonna use 3 bars of side spin to the right. I'm gonna use 3 bars of backspin, starting at the plus 12 yard mark with the rock, level 8, and plus 11 yard mark with the rock, level 9, and maximum distance with rock, level 7. Adjust max plus 5, and then we're going to apply right side of the ball to the right side of the wall, or like to outside the right side of the wall of the ring in curl. Great left is not good here, and the reason it's not good because it puts us further away from pin, and that is not something that we do want to do. We want to be as close to the top right corner possible. No matter what though, use the horizon on the second shot. Even though you have it in level 1, you do want to use all its top spin here to roll this ball towards the, either to be very close to the green or to be on the green. I'm aiming for the green at least, because, you know, obviously I want to have a putt instead of having a wedge. Stretch out to the position where you see the ball guideline rolling down the hill and adjust from there. Maximum distance plus 10 with the horizon. You can see that all the topspin here is helping us to having the ball to fall down, but falling down towards the pin area. If you do have a drive long enough, or like let's say that you have a drive that is closer to the top right corner, you could potentially go directly over the rough by using overpower instead of having to bounce before. But this is a safe shot that will result into getting an eagle. Those of you having better drivers, now I'm talking about those of you playing with Apocalypse level 5 plus, then you can actually cross over the water with a little luck. I would recommend to use a power 4 ball minimum. Power 3 ball could work, but just to be safe, power 4 ball or power 5 ball, and to basically do the rock skip, that you're bouncing over the water into the rocks and roll out. But again, you know, that's gonna be for higher level clubs, and even though we bounce over, then it's still not gonna be an easy chance at getting an albatross, but it's something to have in mind that if you play with superior clubs in pro. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Pro Division qualifying round edition for the St. Patrick's Day tournament and the Drummore Links here in Golf Clash the Game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure you get our ultimate tournament guides for Pro Division or any other division on patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. Once again, thank you so much for watching and good luck in your Golf Clash game.